Hello guys, so I am going to be doing a video that is much different than any video I've ever done before. Probably going to be very vulnerable and just like a get ready with me, talking about the current situation that a lot of boutique owners are facing right now. And it is a little bit of like a negative video, and I really don't want someone to watch this and get discouraged and comment negative things on the video, because I'm a human with real feelings and this is just what I'm going through. And I just know that there is one of you guys on here that follows me that has the same feelings. Like I just know it. And so that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to help someone feel like they're not alone, because I have been feeling really alone lately over this. And if you don't want to hear about the current state of the boutique world and how it's changing and what we should be doing about it and the changes that I've experienced over the years and what's really changing the past few months, then just go ahead and skip over this video. I know it's not gonna be for everybody, but I just really want to be really vulnerable with you guys. And I know I said my next video is gonna be a Q&A, but I'm gonna do that in my next video, because first of all, my videos get, they don't get a ton of views to begin with. It's like kind of over like a few weeks period that my videos will get like more and more views. And so I'm gonna wait for a few more questions to come in, and you can still ask any questions on this video too. We'll get back to normal programming on the next video with the Q&A and whatever. But for that reason, and then also just because this is on my mind right now, let's just get real and talk about all of this. Get ready with me while I post one of my most vulnerable things I've ever posted on the internet. And it's not because I don't have any makeup on or my hair is not done. I just have a lot of thoughts. If you are new to following me, I usually post all boutique owner, like behind the scenes, helpful tips and tricks, all that kind of stuff. And this video is still for my boutique owners. It might be for a niche group of you guys. And I apologize in advance if this video is kind of all over the place. I have so many thoughts, and I've been keeping all of this in for so long. And I just like want somewhere where, I don't want to say like I could vent, because no one wants to listen to someone just like complain. But I feel like a lot of us are going through a hard time right now, especially if you've been in the boutique world for a little bit. You may realize that like this isn't what it used to be like. If you're new to the boutique world or wanting to start a boutique, it still might be helpful to like kind of listen to these things, because you might realize what things you thought were normal might not be normal. And I don't know, this isn't gonna really make much sense until I start actually getting into it. But so yeah, let's just get into it. So I want to start off by just saying that I've been feeling really lost recently. I feel like a lot of it has to do with just the way that like fashion is changing, and not only just like fashion, that's not really a thing, but like more of the way that people are buying online, the way that social media has changed over the past few years. I'm gonna get into all this stuff, but I've just been feeling really lost. And I think that a big part of me, when I was opening my second store location, these thoughts were kind of like out of sight, out of mind, because I was opening the store and, you know, I was really excited about that. I was really distracted with all that came with getting that store ready. And then right after I opened up my store, I had my bachelorette trip and my wedding, because I opened my store August 26th, had my bachelorette trip like 2 weeks later. After we got back from the bachelorette trip, I was very distracted and trying to, not distracted, I mean, yeah, distracted, but like keeping my mind busy planning my wedding. And my wedding was on November 4th. So that was like, you know, during end of September, October, it was like all just like last minute, like wedding planning type of things. So again, mine was like elsewhere. And then for the past month, in this past November, I'll just let you guys know now that like our sales are not doing as well as they have in the past. And not to say, okay, so like our sales are actually the same as they used to be when we were in our big store location. So, and I don't want to say like the same, because maybe they're a little bit higher, a little bit lower, like, but it's like comparable to what we had in our last big store location. And when we moved to our new location in the mall, and if you're like new to all of this stuff, basically like in 2021, I was in a big store in the mall, and then I was there for a year and a half until they kicked us out, moved into a store that was literally like a quarter of the size, and not in as good of a location. And then I ended up opening a second store 45 minutes away, so that like, that way I had like 2 stores, 2 income, like, you know, 2 sources of income type of thing. And originally I did not open the St. Pete store to make up for like the losses that we were having at UTC. That wasn't why. I truly just like wanted to, you know, have that additional store and grow the business and stuff like that. Even back in like, when we moved into the new store in April, like April, May, June, July, we were still doing pretty well. Like I'll say like we were doing pretty well, considering that we lost that big storefront and our store wasn't as like in a good location. It wasn't as big, all that stuff. Still doing good. Then around August, of course, when we opened the second store, our sales in our first store kind of started to go down a little bit. And I say all of these things not to discourage you or whatever, but I've been on social media for a long time. I have different followings on different types of platforms, and I've always been very, very real with my audience. And this is probably one of the, like, the audiences that I don't post, like, you know, as often. I'm not posting on here every single day, but I know that a lot of you guys know me. And I just want to be like as real and raw as possible, because I know I'm not the only person going through this right now, which is exactly why I feel, you know, confident enough to share and everything like that. And by no means am I going out of business or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But let me just further explain. So we open up our St. Pete location. It's 45 minutes away. There's no way that this store would affect what that store is doing. It's also like, before we had even opened the St. Pete store, I had been getting ready to open the St. Pete store for months. I wasn't really in the UTC store every single day. I had the same staff. I have the same staff now, same type of products, same prices, like literally you name it, it's like the same. Obviously like different styles and stuff that we're bringing in and whatnot. But nothing has really changed that would be like, oh, like that's why your sales are down or whatever the case may be. But it seemed to be like in August that they started to kind of tank a little bit. And I was like, you know what, August and September are a little bit slower in the area that we're in, because a lot of people go back up north. They're like snowbirds. So they go back up north and then they come back down in October, November. Well, same thing with October, same type of sales. And the thing is that I feel like regardless of the sales and everything like that, I know that like when my sales are down, it definitely gets me down, because, you know, this is my livelihood. I have a ton of people that are working for me at this point, and I feel like I don't want to let anybody down, and I still love like what I do and everything like that. But you have to agree that there has been some crazy shift in whatever in the past few months. And if you guys are not a part of the boutique hub, I would highly recommend like joining that if you are a boutique owner. And tons, every day I go on the boutique hub and someone else is closing their store. Every day I go on the boutique hub and I see people that I've looked up to for years saying that like things have never been so slow for them. And this is exactly why I wanted to post this video, because it's not me complaining that my sales are not as good or whatever, because we're making it, it's whatever. But I would say that we're not thriving at this point compared to how we were last year or the year before. And now I have double the stores. And so I feel like it's been really frustrating for me to be working this hard and seeing a little like increase in reward. And let's just be real, money is our motivator, money is our drive. I know for me, like working like my own schedule and stuff is worth a lot for me, which is exactly why like this job is just like the perfect job for me. I love what I do. I love the clothes, I love the customers, I love the social media, and I get to make my own schedule, which is a huge, huge thing for me because I don't like to be on other people's schedules. So still love my job, everything like that, but I do feel like the industry is shifting and I don't know what's happening. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation today, because if you're a brand new boutique owner, if you opened within the last year or even 2 years, whatever, I feel like one of two things is probably happening, and correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm talking like probably like just an online boutique owner. Like there's a few things that could happen when you open, but like I feel like a lot of people are opening and then they're going viral on TikTok and they're successful and they're like, oh, this is easy. Then I feel like there's the other half of people who open their online store, think it's going to be easy, and they realize it is so not easy. And then, you know, either people quit or they stick it through, and that's just how it goes. And in the last few years, I feel like there has been so many people who have started boutiques, like in the last, like literally since 2020, since the pandemic. And I feel like a lot of people lost their jobs and they were looking to work from home and looking to, like, we see all these people being successful on social media. So they want to start doing something like, you know, having their own like online store, which is so great. And like, I'm never going to get mad at anyone for like doing that, but the barrier to entry in this level is like very, very minimum. Just like how it is, like, you know, becoming an influencer or whatever, like anyone could just start posting on their phone. Anyone could spend a few $100 if you have it on some clothes, a website, start posting pictures, and it's really easy. Like I feel like nowadays to just start it. Even when I started back in 2017, there was not like YouTube channels and TikTok channels where you could just like literally search like how to open a boutique. Like they didn't really exist. Far and few in between. They did not really exist. So I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I first started. Now I feel like it's super easy to get on the internet and be like, oh, I'm going to start this. And it's also easy to just quit too. And in my situation, it's not like that. It was really hard for me to start because there wasn't a lot of information on the internet, and I literally like learned everything myself. Also, the only forms of social media were really like, because Twitter or Snapchat, you weren't going to like make sales off of. So I really only had Facebook or Instagram. Instagram, there was no reels. And so it was definitely different, like starting a boutique back then. And one of the things that helped me grow was like starting a Facebook page, right? Or a Facebook group. And I started to grow a community from there. I did Facebook giveaways. I did, like lives on Facebook and stuff like that. And all was going well. That's basically how I started to grow my business. And eventually like live sales got really, really big. And it's like, if you weren't live selling, like what were you doing? And so eventually I started live selling. It definitely took a toll on my mental health because, oh, I got something in my eye. So I started live selling a lot and it was working really well for me at the time. Then at that time, and this is probably back in like 2018, maybe like 2019, comments sold started becoming a big thing. And so the boutique industry was just so different back then. I didn't have these people that I was connecting to on TikTok. I had these people that I was just connecting to in my like Facebook group on, you know, the Boutique Hub. And I was seeing what everyone else was doing and they were all becoming a part of comments sold. Well, I got comments sold. It made it easier to live sell and not have to invoice people and stuff like that. It was amazing. It was also really great in 2020. I would launch new arrivals and we would sell out immediately. And I think over time, like what happened was that I was so focused on the live selling. Then I ended up getting like going on to the next big thing. Like everyone said, oh, you need to like do like text message marketing. So I do text message marketing. And at this point, like I'm sending out a text back in like the pandemic and I'm saying, oh, new arrivals just launched, and we're selling out of things so fast. And I wish I can go back there. Like I wish I can go back and tell myself like, you need to scale your business right now. But it was pandemic times. I didn't know what I was doing. We were all scared during the pandemic. Like, I wish I would have milked the fact that people had all that time that they were spending on the internet and had all that money. And I feel like I did the best I can at the time. Like we killed it. Like we've never done better and have been more profitable than we were in 2020. But after 2020, I feel like things started changing a little bit. And obviously this is not just in our industry or anything like that. They started changing a little bit, like little by little. And not only that, but in 2021, that's when I opened my storefront. And so kind of at the same time, people started going out more. The storefront was really busy, but my online started going, you know, it wasn't as like lucrative with my online sales. Fine, whatever. The store was doing great. Well, fast forward to, I would say like these past 6 months, I really feel like so much is changing, and it's like literally so scary. That to the point where I don't really know what the next step is to do. I think TikTok changed so much of everything. And not only that, but TikTok Shop, because these people are making commissions off of, you know, products they're selling, and they say it's like through TikTok Shop, but like, oh, I got this on TikTok Shop. Well, no, like that product's either coming from like a drop shipper that like also sells on Amazon or whatever, like overseas company, warehouse, whatever, or it's like a boutique or whatever selling their products on Instagram. Cool, fine, whatever. Great for the businesses making money, great for the customers who are getting the good deals, great for the content creator who's making the commission off of it. I'm literally not hating on any of that, because I would be so lying if I said that I wish that we had made a lot of money on TikTok, or I wish that like I made a ton of money on commissions and things like that too, okay? So I'm not hating, but what I'm saying is that this is changing our industry, and like the boutique industry, and it's scary because I don't know where to go from here. I'll tell you that it's changing in a way where our sales it's getting harder and harder to sell to my customers. And I think to begin with, like my customers were all from a small town, because I was from a small town and a lot of them knew me through that. And my customers, I don't think knew about any other like big online like boutiques or brands and things like that. And now with TikTok and stuff, you don't just follow the people, you don't just see the content of the people you follow, you see the content of everyone. Like your For You page is not just people you follow, it's like anyone who's putting out like decent content. So now they're seeing all of like the bigger brands, the bigger stores where you can get the same type of product that I'm selling at my boutique, but maybe at a cheaper price somewhere else, or I don't know, something like that. That is affecting our online sales, even in-store sales, because people are at the mall and they're like, oh, I can just go buy that on Shein, because don't even get me started, okay? And I understand people wanting to save a buck and whatnot, but it is like, I just feel like going to change our industry. I feel like before I got started like when I first got started on online selling, or like, you know, doing an online boutique, it was like a kind of still a new concept within the last like few years of me starting it. I feel like when I was in college, I would like look for like online boutiques, and I found like 2. I'm sure there was like way more than that, but like I feel like people were really successful if they started like in like 2014, 2015, like that era. And now we've been in this era for a while of people, oh, it's so cool. Like this online boutique owner, I know she's so cool. She has these lives, she has these cute products. Well, now they're online because they're following you, but then they're also following these people who are promoting these super, super cheap products. And we're in definitely like a fast fashion, like especially like the younger generation, like they just want the fast fashion. And they want it for $6. Like I have an employee who showed me a sweatshirt that was like, oh, you should get something like this. I saw it on Shein. I looked at the product. It was a sweatshirt of like, I forget, like holiday drinks or something like that, like cute, like Christmas tea. It was $8. If I buy that wholesale, I'm buying it at like 20 bucks, and then I have to sell it for like 50 or 60 bucks, because that's what you have to do to make a profit and like be like, it's just insane to me. And so I feel like the more and more people are finding out about Shein, more and more people are more comfortable shopping on Amazon. And like I said, it's all great. I understand people wanting to save a buck. I do too, especially in this economy. Like houses are crazy. I'm not disagreeing with that. Really not disagreeing with what anyone is doing here, because I'm like not against TikTok Shop. I'm not against any of these things. All I'm trying to say is that where do we as boutique owners go from here? Where do we go? What do we do? So I have a few thoughts. I have so many thoughts, in fact, that's why I feel like this video is just me ranting. And I think 2024 is gonna look a lot different, not only for me, but for a lot of people in the boutique community. I think people like to go, like I saw a post that was like, yeah, sure, you like to go shop on Shein when you're like online or whatever, or TikTok shop, but when you go visit like a new town, you're not like, oh, I'm excited to go to the new Target here, or like the Target here. Like, no, you want to go see like the cute little boutique shops. So I just feel like we're going to see a shift in our industry. I unfortunately, like it makes me like, I could like literally cry. I feel like a lot of people are going to go out of business, and I feel like a lot of people are going to just realize that like it's not as easy to make this work anymore than it used to be. And where I can see the industry going is I feel like boutique shops are going to have to become more, I would say like, I don't want to say it, but like higher end or like specialty stores, because it's hard to find fast fashion that like is under $50, like that kind of thing, that doesn't look like anything that's sold down the street. However, like a lot of, like you are going to like lose, like I'm going to lose a lot of different customers. I'm not saying that this is exactly where I'm going, but I'm just saying like, if that's the path you were to go down, which is the way that you might have to you might have to do this in order to differentiate yourself from like these other like big online platforms to sell clothes, is you might have to just go with like the more like sell brand name products, like sell things that are like really unique and like really good quality that like they're not going to be able to buy. Like straight up not gonna be able to buy anything similar to on these big platforms. And I feel like those are the type of stores like that, like I just feel like the days of like us like only selling like the fast, like cheap products, like yes, you're gonna have those people who are buying from you because they like you. And I don't think that's going away, but I also feel like people are addicted to TikTok. They're scrolling through and they're seeing these new people that they also like, and they also like are just, and these people that are maybe selling on TikTok might be just selling on TikTok shop. But then, you know, they get these followers who maybe were also your followers, and yeah, they still like you and they still want to buy from you, but like they might be spending like half of their money now with this creator who's like sharing whatever. And I know this all sounds so negative, and I don't mean it to sound negative. I don't mean it to sound like that's fine if they want to do that. Of course it is. All I'm saying is that this is the type of thing that you might need to start thinking about if you are a boutique owner in this day and age. And my Black Friday was still really good. I started having like a lot of anxiety before Black Friday because I was worried that with the changes in the sales and things like that, that Black Friday wasn't going to be good. It was better than last year, but again, I have 2 stores this year, and it's not like it was doubling like it potentially should. And so that is what I have to say about that. Another like part of me is really, I feel like along the lines of the years that went by, it's like I had comments sold. I had to have the comment sold app. I had to sell on comment sold. I had to go live on Facebook. I had to have Facebook. I had to have Instagram. I had to do Instagram Reels. Then you had to do TikTok. And I'm doing all these things, and it feels like more and more work is, the workload is getting more and more because of all these more and more platforms and stuff like that. But I'm not making any more additional sales because I'm spreading myself so thin. But then you have to spread yourself thin, because if you're on TikTok like me and you have 43,000 followers and it gets deleted because you named a pair of socks, watermelon sugar socks, and put them on your TikTok shop that had nothing to do with Harry Styles. Yeah, that's what happened. I got confirmation. Yeah. It's those types of things that are so, like, I feel like I don't even want to grow on TikTok now. And that might sound so negative, but it's like, I feel like I'm putting in so much effort towards some of these things, and I'm not seeing any type of return. And so now I'm like, I've grown a text list, an email list, a comment, so like all apps and stuff, but I just want to go back. Like, I just feel like going back to the basics might be what I need to do, and what, like, I don't know. I just feel so like, so overwhelmed with thoughts about this whole topic and everything like that. So the other part of me now feeling this way and not having the distractions of opening that second store and then planning my wedding and then planning Black Friday, and now I'm on the other side of Black Friday. I'm currently posting this on Cyber Monday. I'm going live later, but all those distractions are kind of gone now, and I'm kind of like, where do we go from here? Because I'm starting to realize I'm getting a lot of anxiety around what's next and like the unknown of what's next. And I've talked to like so many of my boutique friends about this, and a lot of people who especially started around the same time as I did feel the same way. And I just feel like I don't know. There's different ways that you can go with it. You can scale back your store and focus on the core of whatever. You could be posting a ton of content to see like what sticks, like get as many sales as you can, whatever. A lot of people are closing their store. Like, it's just, a lot of people are going into wholesale. Like, there's so many different things that you could do. For me and my plan, I'm going to sit my butt down and I'm going to make a plan for 2024. And maybe it won't be a plan, but it'll be, what does my ideal life look like? And how can I take one step to get to that next step of like what my ideal day-to-day life looks like? How can I do that and go from there? And I also think that I'm going to be posting a lot more on social media for a few reasons, but one of them being that I don't know where to go from here. So I just feel like putting out my thoughts and feelings like this, I cannot be the only one that feels this way. I think I could figure out what's working for me, what sticks, what's making me money. I'm just like at this like turning point where I'm like, something has got to change. And I think the industry is going to push me in a certain direction. So I feel like my game plan for right now, and especially because around the holidays, I get like super, like when I go home to Pennsylvania, where my family, like where I'm originally from. And I'll spend a lot of, like, I have a lot of downtime, like staying at my dad's house and stuff like that. And a lot of times I'll like go on my computer and I will start planning for 2024, but it is end of November and I'm going to start doing that right now because I'd like to see like if I'm putting towards the effort right now of what I want to put into the new, like, you know, when you make your New Year's plans, you're like, I'm going to do this, that, whatever. I'm going to start doing that stuff now. So that way I can see where it takes me and have more of a clear idea going into the new year, what my new year is going to look like. Let me be clear, I'm not going to be quitting my boutique anytime soon. I just have signed a 5-year lease, first of all. Second of all, like, this is my mom's retirement plan. Like, we're in it together. And so I'm not quitting by any means. Regardless, I will always have my boutique. I really hope that I didn't discourage anyone with this video, but it is kind of a discouraging just thing that's happening. And all I want to do is like relate to people. And if you are having these feelings, I'm just a human having these feelings. And I just I just know that there is at least one of you guys who watches my videos that have similar feelings. And if you want to chat, please DM me. I've open DMs and I am more than happy to talk about it. But anyways, in my next video, I will be doing the Q&A and it will be back to normal and motivation. And I'm always going to say like real and everything like that. But I also do like to focus on the positive things. So on that note, if you want to follow this crazy journey of mine and just figure this stuff out together, give me a follow, hit subscribe, follow me on Instagram and TikTok and all the things. And let's figure this stuff out together.